guys, so today I'm finally going to do the Q&A video that I posted a while ago on my Instagram, and I got a lot of questions this time. I think 100 more questions than last time, so we have plenty to get through. Last time I started from the bottom and someone didn't like that because they asked a question early on, so I'm going to start from the very top, the first couple questions that I got. I'm trying to get this lighting situation to be okay because I filmed the red eye tutorial. Okay, let me just give you a little story. Filmed the red eye tutorial, edited the whole thing, then decided I didn't like the lighting. Everything was super blue toned and I couldn't fix it in post, so I'm hoping that the setting that it's on right now isn't super blue still. I have it on fluorescent lighting, which is what I'm kind of using right now, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. First question, how old are you and when is your birthday? I'm 24, turning 25 on March 19th this year, so very close to 25. Talk about my tattoo. I have a tattoo here. It says float on. I get a lot of questions about it still. I have done a whole video on my tattoo experience and what it means and everything, and also my nose experience. I'll link both down below. They're the only tattoo and piercings I have, so no need to ask for one of those videos, but yeah, you can watch that video. I talk all about it. Favorite band? Well, I have so many favorite bands. My number one favorite band at the moment is Korn. It's been Korn for quite some time. It used to be System of a Down because I mean, I grew up listening to them, but, which are still like top 3 for sure. But because they are no longer together, I consider Korn to be my favorite band at the moment. Are your selfies a trial and error thing, or do they just end up good the first time? Your selfies are goals. Oh, thank you. No, you should see the selfie portfolio gallery thing I got going on in my phone. I really need to go through and clear all those out because it is just bad. No, I take about 100 to get a good one. Doesn't everybody? No one takes a good selfie the first time. Where do you get your band tees? In case you didn't know, I'm obsessed with band tees. I have so many. Let me know if you want a band tee collection, because I did laundry yesterday. I did 6 loads of laundry and realized how many band tees I actually have. So I think that would be a cool video. And then I can like, not style each one, but wear each one. I don't know. I get them from Hot Topic, the thrift store, Forever 21. Sometimes I have some good ones. And yeah, I think that's it. Are you getting any more tattoos? Yes, I am eventually. Right now I'm pretty done because, you know, if you watch my other videos on my experiences in my nose and my tattoo, I pass out whenever I get something done. So I have to really want it bad enough to be willing to pass out for it. So I'm not at that point with anything yet because I just got this done not that long ago, so. Are you and Sarah number 2 ever gonna move in together? There's 2 questions in this one. Well, it's kind of up in the air because actually Ryan and I were discussing moving in together, but that won't be until later this year, I think. And we can only really afford it with other people, but he's not sure if he wants to live with Sarah because he doesn't really know her that well, so he wants to get to know her better and then decide, and he doesn't want the pressure of like living with one of my best friends, so it may just be like another random couple in the area or whatever, but we're planning on moving in together. Sarah and I are still kind of, you know, thinking about it, but because Ryan and I are kind of on board to do it together, I'd kind of rather live with him because he's my boyfriend. On that note, how long before you and Ryan get married do you think? Well, I don't know, because obviously we've talked about it. We've been together for almost 2 years, so it has been like a topic of discussion, but it's never, I mean, neither of us are ready by any means, nor will we be for a while. Like, we take our relationship pretty slow, not in the beginning, but like we didn't say I love you until 6 months in. We're just now talking about moving in like as a possibility. So I don't know, I think it'll be a while before we ever like are ready to be engaged. Any advice on how to start a YouTube channel? Why, of course, I have a whole video on it. It's a very long, extensive, very packed full of info on what makes this a good YouTube channel. So I'll have that link down below as well. Would you ever become vegetarian? Well, I'm pescatarian at the moment. What's your favorite thing to do when you and Ryan hang out? Watch a movie. We watch a movie every single time we hang out, or a show. It's just our passion. We both love movies so much, so we take turns. My nose is running. Don't you hate it when you have a nose piercing and your nose runs? And I just wiped all of the makeup off my nose. Cool. If it was the end of the world and the only way for you to live was cutting off your nose or a hand, what would you choose and why? Definitely wouldn't cut off the nose. I mean, it's more functional to probably cut off my nose versus my hand, but I could live without my right hand. I don't know. I'm ambidextrous, so I write with my left hand, lefties unite, but I do everything else with my right hand. So I don't think I could survive either way with losing either hand. But if it was the end of the world, I assume that we wouldn't really have a need to write all that much, you know? I got a bunch of questions if I like Modest Mouse. Well, back to the tattoo. It says float on for a reason. What is your name? I also got tons of questions if I would ever dye my hair a bright color again. I definitely would if it wouldn't damage my hair, but given that it damages my hair every time, no, I'm pretty content with the, you know, however long. I think it was like, oh, fuzzy. I think it was like 6 months that I had it purple. No. Was it? What do you think of Tumblr glamorizing depression, self-harm, and other mental issues? Well, I did a whole video on that as well, so I will link that down below too. What do you think caused your keloid and how are you treating it? Just got my nose pierced and wondering. So I do have a keloid on my nose. It's gone down significantly. I'm using tea tree oil on it, and what caused it, I believe, is the soap and the cleansing method that my piercer told me to use. I was using Dial soap twice a day to clean it, and I realized that's bad for it, so it really got irritated. I had the keloid way before I changed to a hoop, which is probably worse that I had a keloid when I changed it, and then it got bad again, obviously, because I changed it too soon. So now I'm just leaving it alone and doing tea tree oil twice a day, and what it does basically is break down the keloid layer by layer. So I'll do it, and then a couple days later it'll peel off, and then it's smaller, and then I'll do it again, and then it's smaller again. Will you give your children meat? Absolutely. I am a firm believer that you should not put your values on your children. I understand like raising them a certain way and teaching them morals and things like that. But as far as eating choices and things like that, I mean, that's personal. So I'm going to let them choose. Initially, I'm going to feed them meat. Like, I don't have an issue with that, but as they get older, then they can choose what they want to eat. Like, who am I to push that on them? They can, you know, make their own decisions about life and believe what they want to believe. Definitely not going to push my values onto them. If you were to have another cat, what would you name it? Definitely Crookshanks. I regret not naming Pepe Crookshanks because Skimbleshanks. Ooh, that sounds cute. Crookshanks, Skimbleshanks. I got so many questions if I like Nirvana, and I don't know why. I'm not the biggest fan by any means, but I know the songs that come on the radio and I enjoy them. But I don't claim to be like a super big Nirvana fan. On a scale of 1 to no, what is the likelihood of you saying hi to me? Well, Blugs. Hello. A lot of people asked also what is my favorite quote, and I actually have it on my wall, but you can't see. It's that right there. It's an F. Scott Fitzgerald one, and it says, "For what it's worth, it's never too late to be whoever you want to be. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you find you are not, I hope you have the strength to start over again." Love this question. Who is your favorite housewife on Desperate Housewives? Are you sad it's not on Netflix anymore? Dude, I was pissed. I was so mad that they took that off Netflix. My favorite housewife is Brie Vandekamp, and that might come as a surprise, but she didn't become my favorite until probably season 2, when she started to show her faults, because in season 1, I mean, granted she had faults, but I just think her character develops so much over all the seasons, and especially by the end, I just fell in love with her. More tattoo questions. Are you still happy with it, and do you think the pain is worth it? I think the pain's definitely worth it. For one, I'm obsessed with it still. Like, sometimes I forget I have it, and then I'll see it out of the corner of my eye and be like, oh yeah, that's so nice. Do you think therapy is a good solution for people with depression? Absolutely. I mean, it's been proven that therapy in combination with medication has been the best way to treat depression, and I mean, there's reasons for both, because medication helps the chemistry of depression and what's really going on in your brain, but as soon as you come off medication, you relapse and you go right back to it. So that's why therapy is so important for it, because it teaches you coping ways and it teaches you how to deal with your depression and your bad days. Because even if you're on medication, for instance, I'm on medication for it, and even if you're on it, it doesn't fix it. You still have bad days. Your baseline is a little bit higher than it used to be. So I think you need to have them in tandem. I think that's the best way to treat it. Would you rather everyone thought you had sex with a goat but you hadn't, or have sex with a goat and nobody will ever find out? I'd rather people think that I had sex with a goat than actually have sex with a goat. Do you like hamsters? I love hamsters, except they bite and I get really freaked out and then I throw them across the room on accident. Have you ever had a hamster where you're like holding it and it bites you and you just like freak out and it like flies? No? Okay. I actually had a hamster. His name was Felix, and they don't live very long. It was sad, but that's why I never got a new one. What is your opinion about death, or on death? Well, I will be doing a whole death video. I think it'll be like kind of a psychology video because I have a fear of death, and I especially now have been doing a lot of self-reflection on why, and you know, ways that I try and cope with it and things like that. For instance, my mom thinks that my obsession with horror is a way for me to cope with my fear of death, and it's not so much losing people around me, it's my own death and the theory of just not existing ever, because I don't believe in an afterlife, so, and I don't believe in spirits or ghosts. So for me, when I die, I'll just stop existing, and so for me that's terrifying. So I will do a whole video on death, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Are you an organ donor on your driver's license? Absolutely, and you should be too. I don't know who doesn't want to be an organ donor, but if they weren't, Bill would be dead. Do you get along with your dad? You rarely talk about him. Yeah, I get along with my dad. He lives kind of far, like, it's like the inconvenient kind of far. It's like an hour away, so it's not like the you know, easiest drive to go see him. But yeah, we talk every once in a while. We're not super close, especially since I've entered college and whatnot. We've kind of grown apart, but I saw him this last Christmas, which was nice. But yeah, I still love my real dad and everything. Like, I'm still, you know, kind of close with him, and he'll be the one to walk me down the aisle and everything. Okay, so if you had to pick one pair of boots to keep and throw the others out, which would it be? Yes, one. We all know you're a hoarder. Yep, I am. Let me go find one. Right when there's a train. I'm gonna say my Doc Martens because they're just so versatile. Well, okay, Doc Martens because they're just so versatile. They go with everything. They're comfortable. Not for like 8 hours of wear, but they're decent. I think these are just a little too big for me, so my heel rubs a little bit, but those are my most expensive boots that I own, so I would keep those and throw the rest away. If you could be one kitchen appliance, which one would you be? That's a hard one. I'd probably be a microwave because there's a horror aspect to being a microwave, I feel like. I don't know why I feel like that. That's a weird thing to say. But yeah, you think about people who put animals in microwaves, or like Last House on the Left, the scene with the microwave. You want to go to a festival, and have you any travel plans for this year? Actually, I'm going to a festival this year. Oh, hey, what's that? I'm gonna go to Rock in Rio in Vegas this year, and it's the first time that I'm ever really going out of town for anything. That far. I've never been that far. The farthest I've gone is 4 hours away to Yosemite, so and I'm driving with Ryan there. It's a road trip, so I'm going there, and if I could, like, my dream festival would probably be Leeds and Reading this year because, well, I'm seeing Metallica in Rock in Rio, which I'm so grateful for, but they have such a badass lineup this year. Oh man, I wish I could go to Leeds and Reading, but it's in the UK, and that's quite expensive for me to get over there. So I'll take Rock in Rio. Metallica, you know, that's fine. If you could be any serial killer, who would you be? And I know you wouldn't want to be a killer, but just a fun question. How do you know? I wouldn't want to be a killer. Honestly, I've always been the most fascinated by Jeffrey Dahmer, so I would have to say him, but I probably would not be a necrophiliac or cannibal. If you could eat a toad or lick a dead squirrel, which would you choose? I think it'd be so much easier to lick a dead squirrel than eat a toad, because like eating is like consuming and having to swallow all the bones and the fat and the juices, but just like licking something dead isn't as bad. So, plus is the frog alive? Okay, so that is all the questions I'm going to answer. I went through all of them on there. Well, I scrolled through all of them, picked out my favorites, so I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours. A lot of them were repeats, so as usual, I'll have a link to all the previous Q&As that I've ever done down below. If you're curious about where is my dream place to visit or things like that, I've answered those in previous ones, so check those out if you haven't seen them or if you want to hear an answer to your question. I'll link those down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. California finally decided to join the winter bandwagon and we got rain today. Whether or not you guys know, I'm trying to grow my hair out really long.